Hey everyone, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Addison Castillon and I am a Muslim revert. So I've been a Muslim now for about 2.5 years, alhamdulillah. I reverted in November 2018, around that time. So it's been about 2.5 years. Alhamdulillah, these years have been honestly the best years of my life. I've completely transformed into the best version of myself. My life has completely transformed in the best way. And it's just been an amazing experience for me. So it's been about 2.5 years, but long before that, I had been researching Islam for about a year before I officially decided to convert. I actually learned about Islam through the person who is now my husband. So we met in New York City. We were having a shared apartment. He moved in down the hall. Before that, I literally did not know any Muslims at all. I obviously have heard of the religion Islam, but I had never ever interacted with a Muslim before. Honestly, maybe in school once or twice. My school wasn't very diverse growing up, but yeah, I never knew Muslims. I never knew about Islam. I knew nothing. So he was the first Muslim that I met. Obviously, we were living together, so we saw each other all the time, and slowly but surely we became friends. So we would hang out. He was living with his friends as well, so we would all hang out, and we became really close. And slowly but surely, I started to learn about Islam through him. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. And at the time, I was a very spiritual person. I did not follow any religion. I never followed any religion growing up. Some of my family were Catholics, but we weren't super religious. I never connected with Catholicism. I never considered myself a Catholic, but I was very spiritual. I had studied Buddhism. I was very into spirituality, but I didn't connect with any religion that I had found so far. So I always believed in God, but I didn't really have any way that I was practicing any belief. We would spend time together, we were friends, and I would see him do things like make namaz, make salah, prayer. And I would always be really interested. Oh, what are you doing? What does this mean? It kind of reminded me of a form of yoga or meditation. At the time, I was really into yoga. So I was like, oh, wow, this is really cool. I wanted to know what it was. So he explained it to me. And I was like, wow, this is really great. This is nice. And I loved how he did it 5 times a day. This was always nice. He took time out of his day, multiple times a day, to connect with God. So this really, I liked this already from the start. So then the next thing that I was exposed to in Islam was Ramadan. I'm sorry, it's so loud here. I'm in India. And it's monsoon season, so it's storming outside, but in general, India is so loud. There's literally nowhere in the house that I can find that is quiet. So I'm sorry if the background noise is too much. But what was I saying? Yes, so Ramadan. Obviously, he was fasting for Ramadan, and we were friends, and we were really good friends. We were living in the same exact place, So obviously, we were around each other all the time. And when he would be fasting, first of all, I asked him, what is Ramadan? What are you doing? And he told me all about Ramadan, how they fast to practice self-control, spiritual discipline, these kinds of things, having compassion and empathy for the poor, learning, not focusing on physical things, but focusing more on spirituality for this month. So I was like, wow, this is incredible. This practice is great. Even non-Muslims should do this, this is really good. So, and just being around him in general, when he was fasting and I wasn't, I'm not going to eat or drink around someone who's fasting. So I was like, okay, you know what? This sounds really great. Fasting, I know a lot of people, even non-Muslims, they do fasting. It's a great way to practice self-discipline, all these things. So I was like, okay, I want to do it. I want to do Ramadan with you. I didn't do it perfectly. Obviously, I wasn't fully committed to the fasting. I wasn't doing it for religious purposes. I just wanted to try it. So I tried my best, and I did a pretty good job. I did it, honestly, most days. It was an incredible experience. It was very difficult, but it was rewarding, and it was nice. It was just the celebration of Ramadan, all these Muslims together. It was an incredible experience. So then I was like, wow, okay. I really liked it. And then after that, slowly but surely, I just became more and more curious about Islam. But actually what happened was, I was very intrigued by Islam. But then when I started learning more about Islam and kind of doing my research, I found a lot of things on the internet, a lot of things that were just that I did not like at all. There was a lot of misconception that I found on the internet. I was like, oh wow, no, I do not like Islam. I don't want to follow Islam. I don't like it at all. Then I researched more because my husband, who was still my friend at the time, I would confront him about these things. I'm like, what is this? Like, I would find something on the internet that was wrong, either misogynistic or like male dominating, something like that. And he's like, this is not Islam. This is culture. This is not the real Islam. People do this culturally. So then I was like, okay. So he would give me good sources and help me kind of learn about his Islam. He would have such a friendly approach to it that it really, his approach was so nice and not forceful and not trying to impose his beliefs on me that I was willing and wanting to learn more about it. I learned more, and then I started to realize how a lot of the things that I had found were an intertwinement of culture and religion and not the religion itself. So basically, I would find things online and I would question it in a way that was doubtful, okay? Like, I would be doubtful of something and I would question it. And for every single thing that I doubted or that didn't make sense to me, I would find an answer for every single thing that was logical, that had aligned with my previous beliefs, that was, like, everything I found was such a logical way of life. Everything. I remember, like, I would find something and then I'd learn the reason for it and I'm like, oh my God, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Why doesn't everyone do this? You know? Everything that I found was either peaceful, it was so empowering for women. Like, things that I think that we haven't even grasped in the West yet. I'm so sorry for all the thunder. It's so loud outside. It's like downpouring. It's a monsoon season. It's absolutely crazy here. But yeah, there's so many things in Islam that we haven't grasped in the West. I feel like people always put the West as this like exemplar of what people should follow in other countries. But Islam is so ahead of the West in many ways. There's so many things in Islam that people are now just starting to follow. So all of these reasons, I was just like, wow. There's a really famous saying that I like. It goes something like, doubt is the beginning, not the end of wisdom. And for me, this was the case with Islam. So through my doubt, I had initiated this want to and this desire to research Islam. I had really doubted it. And I thought for sure, like, I would find things and I would be like, no, I don't like this at all. And through that, I was able to understand and really fall in love with Islam, honestly. It's a way of life. It's a beautiful way of life. It has guidelines for every single thing in life. So it's just, I really love the structure of it. Before, I was very spiritual, as I said before, but I had no structure or way to follow or kind of show my worship to God or connect with my spirituality. I had no way to practice this in my everyday life. And Islam gave me the guidelines and the ways to do so, that in every single thing that I do, eating, sleeping, talking, the way I dress, every single thing, I can connect with my spirituality and demonstrate my faith through those actions. So, alhamdulillah, I converted. I finally took the decision. I was like full on into it. I'm like, all right, I'm ready. I'm going to convert. Oh, I also, before that, I started eating halal before I converted. I took baby steps into it, baby steps. I had been vegetarian on and off for the years before. I really, really loved meat, but I struggled being vegetarian. But there's something about the like mass production and the treatment of animals that it never resonated well with me. It never sat well with me. So when I learned about halal and how it's a conscious way of eating, you're aware of what you're putting into your body, you're aware of where your meat comes from. In order for it to be halal, it has to be treated humanely. There's a lot of these, it's kind of like free range, like organic. There's a whole list of standards in order for it to be halal. And all of these things, I was like, wow, this is a very conscious and a really good way of eating. I really liked the thought that I had to put it. And having dietary restrictions I think it's a good thing. I think it's good to not just consume whatever comes in front of you. You know, to think about what you're eating, where it came from, all these things. So, yeah. So I converted to Islam. Finally, I made the decision. I was full on into it. I was fully confident in what I was deciding in my decision. And so at that time, my husband and I, we were still friends at the time, we were friends for about 2 years. We really knew each other. Like, we were living together in separate rooms, but in the same place. We spent almost every day together. Like, we were really good friends. And I fell in love with him. It was great because he had already been my best friend. And so, alhamdulillah, the feeling was mutual. And, we had great intentions. We loved each other. So we're like, let's get married. We knew each other. It's not like we had not known each other already. We knew each other very well. So, alhamdulillah, we got married in 2019. It's been incredible. I'm so happy to have met him, for him to have introduced this into my life. And I'm so thankful for his approach that he had while teaching me Islam. It was never forceful. It was never in a way that he thought his way of life was better than mine. He had this approach that I think all Muslims should incorporate when they're talking about Islam or talking about their faith. That he just had such a peaceful way of teaching me Islam. So that's actually why I'm in India right now, because I'm here visiting his family. They live in India. He's from India, and it's incredible. It's honestly incredible. I'm just so thankful for everything that Islam has brought into my life. Like, literally, Islam has allowed me to flourish in every single part of my life. If you flourish in one part of your life, you'll flourish in the other parts as well. And by connecting with my spirituality, by connecting with Allah, by all of these things, it's just brought so much peace and tranquility into all of my life. My faith has really, really allowed me to become the best version of myself in everything. So a question that I often get asked as a convert or revert, for those of you who don't know, convert and revert is the same thing. For any non-Muslims who might be watching this, it's just that we like to say revert because we believe that everyone is born believing in one God, believing that there's one superpower creator, which is we consider Allah. Allah is just the Arabic word for God. It's not some special God that we worship. It's just God. That's what we believe Allah is. So revert just means that we're returning to our natural state, which is a servant of God, pretty much. So even after I had connected with Islam in my heart, and I knew in my heart that I wanted to convert, the number one thing that was holding me back was how are my friends and family going to react. I had been a very anti-religious person my entire life. So for me to kind of like all of a sudden I was very into Islam. And I felt like a hypocrite. I felt like, how are my friends and family going to react? I've always been the person that like, oh, religion is bad, all these things. So I was really hesitant about telling them. That was the number one thing holding me back from like publicly coming out as Muslim and fully converting. I had a new way of life that I was going to live. And I was thinking, are they going to accept it? Is it going to be hard? Am I going to lose friends? Is my family going to be critical of me wanting to convert? Are they going to think that I converted for this man? Are they going to think that he forced me? All these misconceptions about Islam. I had so many thoughts racing through my head. I was so scared. But alhamdulillah, my family and friends fully embraced my decision to follow Islam. I had let this fear of criticism of others hold me back from making such a great decision for my life. And when I finally told them, they were so accepting of me. Alhamdulillah, I have such a great family. I'm so proud of my family. I'm more proud of my family after this because of how willing they fully accepted me and my decision to convert to Islam. They fully accepted my husband. They never questioned anything. They had some questions about Islam. For example, what is hijab? Why do you wear it? Do you wear it for your husband? And of course, I told them, no, I don't wear it for my husband. It's my decision only. There's no force in hijab. All these things. Of course, they had some misconceptions because Islam is so poorly represented everywhere. So, alhamdulillah, they fully embraced it. And I'm so happy to say as well that his family fully embraced me. In India, intercultural marriages are not so common. And sometimes they have a bad stigma to them, especially with Americans. They're very skeptical of them because Americans have a high divorce rate, all these things. But his family fully accepted me. They fully accepted me. His family, I consider them 100% my own family. They're 100% my own family. And they're the most loving, caring people I've ever met. Alhamdulillah. They're incredible. They've taught me more about Islam. I'm I'm so happy, alhamdulillah, with my experience. And I consider myself very lucky for this because I know, unfortunately, so many Muslim reverts, they don't have this experience. They face criticism from their family, their friends, and then also, unfortunately, so many times when Muslim reverts enter the Muslim community, they face criticism as well, that, oh, you don't know the right way, you don't know. A lot of people doubt our knowledge as Muslim reverts because we're new to the religion. Alhamdulillah, for me, I had a good experience with the Muslim community as well. Everyone was welcoming. They treated me like any other Muslim. It was incredible. Everything for me, alhamdulillah, has been a great experience, so I'm very thankful for that. So as I said, my husband's family is obviously Muslim, but from my family, I am the first Muslim ever. With my friends, until I met my friends that were with my husband, I had no friends that were Muslim. Now, alhamdulillah, I can say I have many friends. All of my friends that I had before I converted to Islam are still my best friends today. They're always willing to adjust and compromise to my new lifestyle. Always. They fully accept it. They love learning about it. They have all these questions. It's great. I have not lost any friends due to me becoming a Muslim, alhamdulillah. And my new Muslim friends, it's great as well. We share, we learn, we grow in our faith together. It's incredible. So overall, it's been an amazing experience for me. I'm very much into Islam. I love learning about Islam. I love increasing my faith every day. I have an Instagram account dedicated to Islam, modest fashion. It's also my personal account. I share some things about my family, my husband, and things on there. But I'm trying to dedicate it to Islam, convert help, modest fashion, lifestyle, Islamic lifestyle, things like that. I also have a TikTok account dedicated to these things. And I also have a personal blog that I've really dedicated to kind of teaching about the basic things of Islam, for any Muslim converts who might be looking for sources or perspectives on certain things, why Muslims do what they do. Because I know that when I was a convert, all of these types of things helped me a lot. And it really, really helped me connect with Islam. So I'm hoping that now that I'm a Muslim, I can help other converts do the same thing as that. I'm so happy to share my path with my journey with Islam, with other converts, Muslims, non-Muslims, everyone. So maybe they can be inspired the way that I was inspired by other people as well to make this decision. I would love it if you would follow me on Instagram, TikTok, my blog, so I can share more of my experiences of Islam with you and just my life after I've converted. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and I hope you have a blessed day. Allah Hafiz.